side of things, so that is why we increased IMRF for a little bit. And then pretty well the biggest change that was really needed to be done was adding in the working cash bonds that were issued back in the spring, and then at our last meeting we abated that $3,005,000 from working cash to capital projects in hopes of getting the transportation facility moved.
Where are we on that? You know,
We're not really much further than what we've had been. Amoresco had traveled to the site that Dr. Allison had saw, or he went to see at a sporting event, and then they also met with Bonnier Builders, who kind of basically builds, that's their, I guess their area of expertise, is that type of building. So they have traveled to that site and met with Bonnier, but we haven't got kind of the feedback from those visits.
okay. Do you have an idea when that might be?
I have not heard from them, but I've been out for a few weeks this
Sure.
month, so I haven't heard much, so. That's all I have on the hearing.
Nope. Opportunity for public input regarding the hearing? Hearing none, we'll move on to information discussion items.
First up is the county school facility sales tax for March. We received $84,986, which brings us to a total of $681,155 for the year. So it continues to be a very solid year for school facility sales tax. We assume that we will probably have our highest receiving year of the program. So that's positive and takes care of a lot of our annual facility needs. So that's great to have, and thank everyone for shopping locally. Next on there, June FOIA report. We did have just a couple, just one prior to the meeting. We've gotten a couple recently that will show up as part of the July meeting, July report, but just very interesting what some people request as part of that report. So we'll continue to report on that.
Who are these people?
I don't remember this one.
Because there, it went over in the second column, it just said, it
Oh.
didn't say anything. And it wasn't clear what they were FOIAing.
Yeah, I don't remember. Do you know which one? Remember what that one was?
I'm sorry.
It was a list of all of our employees by name,
Oh, okay.
position, with their work email and work location.
Okay,
Yeah, I probably didn't copy off the leading sentence of the FOIA request.
Right.
Just as a reminder, the 25-26 district calendar, continue to share it with our parents and families. Online registration right now is scheduled to open July 14th. One of the components that we wait for is the free reduced lunch application, which has to be released by the state. That becomes part of our online registration program. So once we get that, it may open a little bit earlier, but certainly by July 14th is our hope for online registration. In the event we would have any new families who are watching today, we will do in-person registration for those individuals in the schools on July 31st. And then our first day for students is August 11th. So I am confident it will be here before we know it. Next up is our 24-25 student interest surveys. If you had a chance to look at those, we do two versions, the 4 through 7, which actually isn't required, but the high school students are. That is a state requirement. I think it's every 5 years, but we do it usually about every other year. And really the responses, if you had a chance to look at them, very much in line with what we're offering at this point. So I think we've done a good job. Obviously softball was a pretty big one for the junior highs, and we've added that. And cross-country baseball, so we're doing well with the 4 through 7 group, and that 8 through 11, as they continue to add recognized sports at IHSA, some of those show up on the surveys. Lacrosse obviously is kind of the newest one that's on there. And so kind of see where we are. We, as you remember, we've done a co-op with Dunlap for that. Swimming, diving, kind of the same thing. We offer a lot of those sports. Flag football would probably be the next one for girls that would occur, but there's just a point when we don't have enough student population to provide teams for all of the options that are out there. So kind of becomes that challenge for us, and we still have, as you can see in the fall for our students, girls volleyball is still the top vote getter with football for our boys. So kind of see those, but we do share those and make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students. And I think the board, you've done an excellent job making sure that we do that as we move forward. Parent Square for our parents, obviously, and students. That is going to be our new communication tool. That activation email, hopefully if your parents, you received that on Monday, it was just yesterday. It was kind of nice. I did receive it also as a parent, obviously, so I kind of clicked through and see. It was nice that you could see the information, the students that you have in the buildings and which buildings, and confirming contact information, phone numbers and emails. So that pulls from our student information system, goes into Parent Square, so we obviously want to make sure that is correct, and then that is where that information will come out. So tomorrow, our goal is that the first kind of real post that we make through Parent Square will be the meeting and review, so it should look a little bit differently to our parents and staff as they come through. So, and if anyone doesn't get it, kind of the email says, contact J.D. Yates at IBC Schools. So, and after day one, we only had, 3 parents that had questions. So pretty good overall for the first set. So we'll see how it continues to go. And then just kind of wanted to really put it on your radar. We're not sure where it may end at this point, but 25-26 financial update. The evidence-based funding formula was passed in spring. Really kind of maintained the funding. To be honest, what the legislature is doing with that is they're making that required kind of increased payment, but then they're really killing our mandated categoricals, which becomes transportation. And that number, I think, has been, 84-ish%, and I think they're estimating that our reimbursement has been about 84% of what we spend. And now they're talking that for this year, the reimbursement would be somewhere around 75%. So they kind of need it on one side, and then they take it from us on the other side. And then the other one,
They did with CPPRT from.
What did you say, Adam?
It's basically what they essentially did last year into this year with the CPPRT. We saw basically the same decrease in CPPRT is what we saw the increase in EDF.
so we're kind of flat in funding. And then the other one is kind of our part of the federal program. At this point, they've kind of lined out, eliminated Title II funding, which for us covers a lot of our professional development. And so last few years, we've been right around $82,000 in Title II. So at this point, that would be, if they don't make an allocation for that, that's an $82,000 loss to the district that we would be picking up professional development and some other things out of our general education fund rather than through grants. So when we talk about the federal cuts, that's one that we will probably see how it's going to affect our school district and others across the state and country. So that is about all I think I have. Anything for your superintendent's report?
Nope.
Yep, that's it.
Perfect, thanks. Next up will be the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the May 27th, 2025 school board meeting closed session, minutes of the May 27th, 2025 school board regular session, minutes of the June 10th policy committee meeting, first reading and recommended revisions of the following board policies as presented, the policy committee recommendations for policy revisions, the monthly bills, the financial report, fund balance report, and instruction of the June 2023 closed session audit report. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussions, questions, comments?
So in regards to the policies, the biggest thing is that Title IX is still going through the courts, so that was a lot of what the policies were, but we're adopting them as presented. And then our handbooks will align to those policies, so no real
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Rob, you take roll, please.
Donnie Bush,
Aye.
Matt Briggs.
Aye.
I am an aye. Mike Burke,
Aye.
Rick Cracker.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, Jennifer, sorry. Still getting the hang of it.
That's right.
Okay. All right, we move on to action items. Consider approval of the fiscal year 2025 amended budget. If I can have a motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussions, comments, questions?
Just be on the lookout for the signature page to be emailed out to you guys.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm laughing because I always have to email Adam. Adam, did you get my signature?
You should give me a note they did, so. Anything else on that one? Nothing else? Rob, you take roll, please.
Matt Briggs.
Aye.
I am an aye. Mike Burke,
Aye.
Rick Cracker.
Aye.
Jennifer Kraus,
Aye.
Donnie Bush.
Aye.
Alright, next up, consider approval of the following 2025-2026 student parent handbooks for CEC, CJHS, Mossville, South, IBCHS, IBC Learning Center. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussions, comments, questions?
Just two things, kind of as Jennifer alluded to, the handbooks are written so that they meet all of the changes to policy and procedure in some cases. So what they have become over the years, we've talked about this, is they're really just a policy handbook for students and parents that cover all of that. If you looked at the page numbers, South, I mean, this doesn't include really any procedures for our parents, anything other than the required legal requirements. South is at 60, I think, 2 pages. High school's at 71 pages. They're just huge documents, making sure that we're providing our parents with all the requirements that have changed legislatively. The unfortunate thing is, with the spring session just ending in May, we will have another group, as we did last year. These will be amended, and probably at our September board meeting again, we will have to do some revisions to even what this is. So this isn't even the most recent changes that the state of Illinois have given us. So we will see that in September. The one thing that I do think we're going to make a change with, there was a time when the requirements were pretty minimal, probably back when I was a principal 20 years ago or whatever it was, but we would put those as part of our student agendas, and so the students would get them, they would have that handbook. We can't do that because of timeliness now, and then just the number of pages, it becomes overwhelming. But I do think that Parent Square will allow us to share all of these with our parents by their building and have an actual signature so that we know that they've received them. Same thing with our students. So I do think that'll be a little bit better. Right now, it's just kind of we send it out and you check it, and then you go through online registration, but you don't actually get the document. Whereas the new version of Parent Square, I think we'll be able to send it out and get that signature that they did receive it. And hopefully that helps eliminate some of the confusion in some of those pieces, but they're monsters.
Anything else? Hearing nothing, Rob, take roll, please.
I am an aye. Mike Burke,
Aye.
Rick Cracker.
Aye.
Jennifer Kraus,
Aye.
Donnie Bush.
Aye.
Matt Briggs.
Next up, move on to personnel report.
Personnel report for this evening, the following resignations. Sarah Brown, 3rd grade teacher at Mossville. Kevin Schroet, science teacher at Chillicothe Junior High. Kelsey Steyer, science teacher at the IBC Learning Center. Desiree Thomas, special education paraprofessional at South. Chris Reese, assistant girls basketball coach at IBC High School. And Yemi Akintoye, assistant boys soccer coach at IBC High School. Those are all effective immediately. Following personnel contracts for the 25-26 school year: Karina Matson, junior high ELA social studies teacher at Chillicothe Junior High School. Amy Fleming, 3rd grade teacher at Mossville Elementary School. Brecken Clark, special education paraprofessional at CEC. Chris Reese, head boys soccer coach at IBC High School. Colton Lapotko, assistant boys soccer coach at IBC High School. Ryan Hammer, assistant football coach at IBC High School. Chris Reese, assistant boys basketball coach at IBC High School. Chris Shenley, assistant boys basketball coach at IBC High School. Ron Foster, assistant girls basketball coach at the high school. Nick Whitmer, head wrestling coach at IBC High School. Matt Russell, assistant track coach at IBC High School. Approval of a 5.5% increase for all district 12-month employees for 25-26, and approval of all district administrator contracts for the 25-25 school year. Volunteer assistants, Andrew Kissel, volunteer assistant boys basketball coach at the high school, and Corey Scott, volunteer assistant boys basketball coach at the high school. So all of those are effective for the 25-26 school year.
Thought you were done, didn't you?
Yeah. Continue to scroll up, that was one.
I'll move we approve the personnel report as presented. Can I have a second, please? Second. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right, hearing none. Rob, take roll, please.
Mike Birch,
Aye.
Ray Cranford.
Aye.
Jennifer Kraus,
Aye.
Donnie Bush,
Aye.
Matt Briggs.
Aye.
I'm not.
All right. Thank you. Next up would be other items. Got a golf event, right? Since last board meeting.
Yes, I guess we have. Foundation outing, which was June 2nd, which was probably our most well-attended event we've had in the 12 years I've been here, and I think fundraising wise, I think the foundation probably also made the most money that they've made in my time here. So yeah, it was ended up to be a great day, very, very well attended, so yeah, it was a good one. Totally forgot what was only 2 or
I
3 weeks
just
ago.
thought it had happened, and I was,
Yes.
it's been a bit of a blur for the last month or two.
It certainly has, so, yeah.
Any other items? Hearing none, be a second chance for public input on non-agenda items.
The back to school 321 electronic connection will be posted on Parent Square. So the parents and guardians of the district can go to that for the upcoming district calendar, any links for Parent Square teacheries, anything like that. And then all the school spot lists will be on there as well. And like a little tutorial link for how to use Parent Square.
So is Parent Square available to the board members?
It will be. We can actually sign you up if you are a parent
Okay.
and as guests, which we've not had that ability. So yes, you can do that. And we will have that, and that does give us the ability for even some of our St. Ed's, Calvary Baptist, which has been kind of a challenge for
Mhm.
snow information. They can be added as guests for that. So it does have some features that are going to be I think beneficial and helpful to all of us.
It's very user friendly.
I'm sorry.
It's very user friendly.
Yes, so far, I think my little bit of experience, it seems very good. Made me a little nervous sending out the first little bit, but I'm hoping it's a real positive for us.
Good deal.
And the one thing that we talked about, part of the strategic plan with that too is, which we've never had the ability, is that it will do language translation. So we can send something out and the parents, if they're Spanish speaking or there's a multitude of languages, it will translate into their language. And then it will translate back into English as they do that with even, there's a direct message is what they call it, but we'll do it for that as well. So it kind of part of that outreach of our strategic plan, making sure that we can reach all of our parents. So yeah, it really does have a lot of great features that we've not had. So
They keep getting better, because this is what seems like
it's been
a few terms.
it's been a struggle.
few
So we've
times.
gone through, this is at least the 4th one that I can remember that we've used.
I was thinking fourth.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been more than that. It's probably some I've forgotten, but yep.
Okay. Good deal. All right, nothing else, we'll adjourn this meeting, our next meeting.
Go return to closed session.
Yep, I'm sorry, we're gonna go back into closed session, we'll adjourn this meeting later, no action taken.
I'm gonna do the motion to go into
Yep,
closed session.
I'll do,